Hey, Flak Jacket 1000 here, and on today's episode I'll be teaching you on how to make the Sear for your paper 1911. So, what is the Sear? The Sear is the piece that interacts with the hammer. It interlocks with the hammer to hold it back when you cock it. And it serves as, it has a, on the hammer there's two notches, of course. There's the first one that's half cock, and that's sort of a safety. There you go, the first notch right here is a safety, and then the second one is the primary cock, the notch, I guess you'd call it. Cocking notch. So basically what you're going to do to make the Sear is get the blueprints pulled up and get the blueprints of the Sear, and just print off a lot of times on a piece of paper. I did it about a row of four times, and let's see, the Sear on the measurements, let's see, right over here, let's get to focus. This camera has a hard time focusing for some reason. Okay, so the outer edges here on the Sear is going to be .096, which is about 19 pieces. But it might be less, might be more, depending on the thickness of your paper. And then the middle sections, the little bitty parts, are going to be .117, and that's going to be around 23 layers. And then well, let me show you kind of what the Sear does. And I'm sure you've seen this on other videos. Okay, so I'm not gonna put the whole Sear on there since I haven't glued the two halves together, so I can show y'all. I'm just gonna use this half side. That'll work to demonstrate. So what we have here is the hammer and the Sear, and so the hammer's moving along, and you know, it'll start up here, and the Sear will rest right there internally, and there'll be constant pressure on the Sear from this direction pushing against the hammer, and then focus. Okay, there we go. When you pull back the hammer, the Sear will lock into that first notch, and then when you keep on pulling, it'll lock into the second notch. Oh, hold on. Like that. There we go. Yeah. Man, I wish this thing I wish this camera would focus. Maybe I need a new camera. I don't know. If any of you guys want to send me a camera, feel free to. Okay, so yeah, there you can see right there. It's locked into the primary locking position, and then, you know, that's the half cock right here. So that's basically what it does. And there's other videos showing how that works too. Hopefully you could kind of tell, even though the camera was zooming out. So what you're going to do is, first you're going to print out, once you have these printouts, you're going to cut off the whole thing at first, about, what did I say, about 19 times, and then glue them together so it'll look like this. and I drilled a hole through mine because the where the blueprint said. So you have the blueprint on the outer side of it, so it told me where the hole was supposed to be. And then it's going to be that way for both sides. You're going to do about 19 pieces together. And then for the internal parts, there you can see, maybe, yeah, those little bitty knobs sticking out. That separates the two halves so the disconnector can go inside. That's kind of the most tedious part, and a lot of people have different ways of doing it. I'm trying to just cut out the little bitty pieces themselves. Maybe you know it'll be on the blueprints, so you just print out the blueprint like normal. The inside view, by the way, print out the inside view. You can print it out for the outer sides and the inner. It'll work for both of them. And let me just, there we go. Yeah, okay, you can see the two knobs, one right there and one right there. I just cut those out a bunch of times, and I'll demonstrate how I did it. Sorry if this is kind of confusing and this camera keeps on zooming out. Okay, let me just zoom that in to right here. Hopefully it'll stay zoomed. Okay, alright, that's good enough. So, you've already made the two sides, which is simple. You just layer them together. You're just gonna cut these little bitty pieces out. The front one here, and the back one. Let me just get that off there. Set that to the side, and then the back one right here. Okay, so I got the front and back cut out. Kind of maybe hard to see right there. And all I did was I had the one of the sides that I wanted to put the knobs on, and then I got the front knob, and I drug it off the edge with my finger, so it's on my finger now. And then well, before that actually, I put glue on a little popsicle stick on the end. It's kind of clumped up. I put glue on it, and then I rubbed the glue on the place where I want the knob to go, on the Sear outer side. And then after that, then I get the little piece onto my finger like that, and then just line it up and put it on there like that. And I just did that each time and just lined it up with my finger and made sure it was straight, and pressed it flat against the table here, make sure it was flat, and got some pliers too and kind of crimped it, and just did that over and over for the bottom side and the top side till it was 0.117 inches. And you can add those up, it'll be like 0.309 I think in overall. I think that's what it is. Let me check. Yeah, 0.309. I need to write that on there, but so the whole Sear itself is around 0.309. That's if I kind of round it a little bit. So once you get the Sear together and get your calipers and measure it, it should be 0.309. And what I do is just, I'm gonna glue the two sides together and then drill a hole through both of them, so I'll make sure it's straight. And I'll probably just find a pin laying around or paper clip is what I've been using, but it's kind of too small. And then on a side note, let me zoom this out a little bit. This is, I've kind of done a little bit more on my 1911's frame. Kind of sanded the edges down a little bit more and made it more uniform, I guess. So a lot of that, you can tell I use a lot of baking soda and super glue, which makes excellent binder, I guess you'd call it, and it hardens really well. So, and let me put my hammer and, oh wait, let me get my strut real fast. And I'll put those in and show y'all that. Okay, so first I'm going to put the strut in the hammer. Right. Come on. There we go. And the pin is not hanging out of the edges at all. I'll just place that in the back of the frame here. And then I'll get the pin that I found, put it through there. Then, well, actually, let me put this. Let me put half of the sear in there. Since I don't have them glued together, I'm not gonna put both of them in there. I'm just gonna put one side, which will work. It'll show the function fine, I guess. So I'll just go ahead and put that in there, and I'm just using a paper clip with a tape on the end to hold it in place. So I'll put the sear in. It's better to put the sear in like with a frame vertical, so that way it kind of holds it. Okay, just push that over there. And it's almost there. Just a little bit more. I'm sorry. And got it. Okay, so I got the sear, well, half of the sear in there. It's hard to see. Let me raise it up for you. You can kind of see it in there if this dang camera would focus. And now for the hammer, put that in, and the strut. And there we go. Got those in there. And so let me demonstrate the sear a little bit. I'm gonna put pressure on the sear inside there. Just press downwards on the sear, which will press against the hammer. Let me get that lined up with the hammer. And yeah, it's hard to do. Okay, finally. So I got it lined up with the hammer in there on one of the halves of the hammer. You can kind of see it lining up. And so I'm going to press against it. So I accidentally got it at half cock. Let me push it back. Okay, now I'm ready to show. So I'm pressing against the sear inside, which is hard to see without light. And when I press down the hammer goes into half cock, then full cock, and so that's how it functions. Hopefully, well, tonight I'm gonna glue the two heads together, and then the Sear will be completely together. And once you're finished with the Sear, you can either somehow reinforce it with metal, paperclip or something in there, but it's kind of too small for that. So what I'm trying to do is line the edges all around with baking soda and super glue, which seems to make it pretty hard so far. So that's what I'm doing so far. So there's a closer look at that. So thanks for watching, and join me for next episode.